around the world on Adamimogo 107.7 FM, Ido-Ekiti. Here are the top stories. First Lady commemorates International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Far-right pro-Russia candidate poised for surprise win Romania's presidential election. UNICEF raised alarm over increased conscription of children into armed gangs in Haiti. Thanks so much for joining us on Global Box. My name is Michael Jason Ijasan. Now the news in detail. Starting from home, First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu has joined the global community in commemorating the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, marking the start of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. In a statement today, she said although Nigeria is making remarkable progress, she regretted that many women and girls, especially in rural and undeserved areas, remain trapped in these cycles of violence and inequality. Gender-based violence remains one of the most widespread human rights violations in Nigeria. Harmful practices like child marriage and female genital mutilation are still prevalent, often justified by cultural or religious norms. Outside Nigeria, South Africa anti-apartheid author Brenton Bach has died in Paris aged 85. His family announced his passing a statement describing Brenton Bach as a poet, novelist, painter, and activist whose work touched on and influenced literature and the arts both domestically and abroad. In a tribute to the late author today, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa referred to Brenton Bach as a humanist who channeled through the diverse arts forms the militancy, tragedy, and resilience of our liberation struggle. Brenton Bach was a celebrated wordsmith and a leading voice in literature in Afrikaans, an offshoot of the Dutch in South Africa, best known for Confessions of an Albino Terrorist, a book in which he recounts his conviction for treason in 1975 and his 7 years in prison. Upon his release, Brenton Bach based himself in Paris but remained connected to the roots. He notably joined revolutionary group OK Hela. In an update in the Middle East, Israel's military says around 250 rockets have been fired by Hezbollah across the border from Lebanon, marking one of the heaviest bombardments of Israel since fighting intensified 2 months ago. According to Israeli police, since the attack, several people have been left injured and buildings damaged in northern and central Israel, some of them near Tel Aviv, Israel's capital. The airstrike followed an Israeli assault on central Beirut on Saturday, in which the Lebanese Health Ministry said 29 people were killed. In France, prosecutors will today set out their sentencing request to judges with evidence over in the trial of a man who allegedly drugged his spouse for years so he could invite dozens of strangers to abuse her. Recall the chief defendant, Dominique Pellicot, has been in the dock in southern city Avignon since September, along with 49 other men, for organizing the rapes and sexual abuse of his now ex-wife, Giselle Pellicot. The case has shocked a France still working through its version of the Me Too movement, with the latest demonstrations calling for increased protection against sexual violence, bringing out tens of thousands in the weekend, attracting international media attention. Elsewhere, at least one person have died and 3 wounded after a cargo plane crashed near Vilnius airport in Lithuania. According to local authorities, the plane, which operated for German logistics company DHL by the Spanish cargo airline Swiftair, crashed near a house as it was on its final approach for London. The police also added that 12 people have been safely evacuated from a property close to the crash site as investigations get underway into cause of the crash. Rescue services further revealed that all those who were on the flight from Leipzig, Germany, have been accounted for. Talking politics, a far-right pro-Russia candidate Carlin Giurgescu is positioned for a surprise win in the first round of Romania's presidential election, with preliminary results putting his pro-Europe rival in close second. According to the Central Electoral Bureau, with more than 90% of votes counted so far, ultra-nationalist Carlin Giurgescu, who has no party of his own, was on 22%, while his rival Prime Minister Marcel Ciolaso had 20%. The strong showing of Giurgescu, dubbed the TikTok candidate due to the heavy use of the social media platform to campaign, came as the biggest surprise of the election. He is now on track to join Ciolaso in a final runoff for the presidency on December 8. In a related beat outside Europe, following the conclusion of the second round of voting, left-wing politician Yamadu Osei has been elected president of Uruguay, according to official results. In his victory speech, Osei of the Frente Amplio or Broad Front Alliance promised to be a president who calls again and again for national dialogue to find the best solutions.
I will be the president who calls again and again for national dialogue to find the best solutions, of course based on our proposal, but also by listening carefully to what the others are telling us. I will be the president who builds a more united society, a more united country.
Meanwhile, his closest rival Alvaro Delgado of the National Party and a member of outgoing President Luis Lacalle Pour's central-right Republican coalition has conceded defeat, saying he was sending a big hug and a greetings to the president-elect Yamadu Osei. Although the election will shift the balance of power in Uruguay, analysts, however, do not foresee a massive change in the country's economic direction, with Osei having previously promised change that will not be radical. Global Box is reaching you live from Adamimogo 107.7 FM. Still to come, UNICEF raised alarm over increased conscription of children into armed gangs in Haiti. Please stay with us. We'll be back for more.
Is here with us again. Oh yes, Adamimogo 107.7 FM Idoikiti is using this medium to inform and invite children, parents, heads of nursery, primary and secondary schools, churches and individuals wishing to sponsor children and be a part of our 2024 Father Christmas show beginning from 2nd to 24th December 2024. Come and let's revel in the season of love and giving. It promises to be fun-filled. Our Father Christmas will arrive from Rome and be seated at his grotto in our station to receive children, dance and play with them. There are lots of take-home goodies and gifts from Father Christmas, as well as toys and play gadgets to make children's visit interesting, long-lasting, and memorable. For further inquiries, please contact Desmond Olaoluwa on 0806 511 4430 or Bayo Babalola on 0803 562 5812. Adamimogo 107.7 FM Idoikiti 2024 Father Christmas show promises to be exciting.
You are still there. For inquiries, breaking news, and more, please put a call through to our news department on this number 081-180-18242. Now to the rest of the news. The United Nations Children Fund UNICEF has raised alarm over the number of children in Haiti being conspirated by armed groups gangs now controlling up to 80% of the capital, Port-au-Prince. According to the international body, the figure has jumped by 70% in the past year, with children making up almost half of gang membership. In a statement issued by UNICEF, the unprecedented spike registered between the second quarters of 2023 and this year points to a worsening protection crisis for children in the violence-plagued Caribbean island. The statement added that a spike in the child recruitment has also been fueled by escalating violence, widespread poverty, lack of education, and a near collapse of critical infrastructure. In India, a red alert has been issued in Sabhal city in the northern state of Uttar Pradesh after 3 persons were killed and dozens injured in violent clashes on Sunday. According to media reports, clashes broke out between protesters and the police during a monitored survey of the Muhal Error Jamal Masjid. Mosque protesters accused the police of shooting 3 men during the incident, an allegation the authorities have denied. Authorities have since detained 21 people in connection with the violence and have suspended internet services and shut schools in the area for a day. Now on business, most markets rose today following a record close on Wall Street as trades welcomed Donald Trump's pick for Treasury Secretary, while Bitcoin's push to $100,000 ran out of steam after coming within a whisker of the mark at the end of last week. The gains came ahead of the release of key U.S. data that could provide a fresh idea about the Federal Reserve's plans for interest rates amid expectations the next U.S. president's tax and tariff plans will reignite inflation, tempering rate cuts. But investors are also monitoring the Ukraine and Middle East conflicts, which have helped push oil prices higher in recent weeks. Now talking sports, Egyptian Amina Ofi has made history in Singapore after she defeated the women's world number 3 and compatriot Hania El Amanmi with a score of 4-5 in 96 minutes to win gold at the Vintagen Singapore Squash Open 2024. The 17-year-old athlete became the youngest player to win a gold-level event, surpassing fellow Egyptian Noel El Shabini, who previously had the record at age 18 when she won the Texas Open in 2014. The victory marked Ofi's 6th PSA squash tour title. Meanwhile, Egyptian and Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah says he is disappointed by the club's failure to offer him a new contract and looks more likely to leave than stay. The 32-year-old Liverpool top scorer this season with 12 goals in all competitions is out of contracts at the end of the season. Finally, on entertainment, British superstar Adele delivered an emotional farewell speech during her final Las Vegas presidency date at the Colosseum Theater at Caesars Palace. While bidding farewell to the crowd, Adele said she doesn't know when next she would want to perform again.
Been wonderful, and I will miss it terribly, and I will miss you terribly. I don't know when I next want to perform again, and I'm not doing anything else. I'm actually shitting myself about what I am going to do while I'm gone. I don't have any fucking plans. I guess I'm a stage drink. I guess that's what I'll be doing. But I can't do that forever. Of course I'll be back. The only thing I'm good at is singing and things like that. I just don't know when I want to next come on stage, but I love you. I know it's a real task to come to Vegas to see someone play. It's just what I needed for this season of my life, so I really appreciate your effort, what you've done to me. Alison spoke to all the planning we have to do. That is fucking expensive. Everything's fucking expensive. It's crazy. I love you. I adore you. Thank you.
The Singers Weekend with Adele residency began in November 2022. Earlier this year, Adele announced that she would take a step back from music following the conclusion of her Las Vegas residency. She has spent the past 2 years playing a weekend residency at the 4,000 capacity Caesars Palace. Throughout that residency, she often interacted with fans but has indicated that the experience has been emotionally draining. And just before we go, U.S. mega church Porter's House says its leader, Bishop Thomas Dexter T.D. Jakes, is now stable and under the care of medical professionals after he suffered a health scare while delivering a sermon during the church service on Sunday. And that's Global Box on Adamimogo 107.7 FM Ido-Ekiti. Before we go, the highlights again. We brought to you that First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu has joined the global community in commemorating the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, marking the start of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. We told you that a far-right pro-Russia candidate, Kalin Georgescu, is positioned for a surprise win in the first round of Romania's presidential election, with preliminary results putting his pro-Europe rival in close second. He is now on track to join Sualaso in a final runoff for the presidency on December 8. And lastly, it was in the news that the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF has raised alarm over the number of children in Haiti being conspirated by armed groups gangs. According to the international body, the figure has jumped up by 70% in the past year. And as Global Box on Adamimogo 107.7 FM, Olojudo's Palace, Ido-Ekiti. On behalf of the production crew, my name is Michael Jason Ijasan. Thanks for listening.